Oh, hi, Mark. Happy fucking Friday, little butt touchers. I am very excited for it to be Friday because that means um, that I get to go to Gretchen's funeral. No, not really. I don't know a Gretchen, but obviously it means no work for 2 days, and it is early June, and more specifically, it's early June before Friday the 13th. Quinn, you quit that. Don't you growl at him. It's early June before Friday the 13th. In fact, it is the Friday before the Friday the 13th. And it had me kind of in the mood for camp slashers because next weekend, obviously, I'm gonna watch Friday the 13th. I'm thinking 1 through 4 is gonna be the lineup because I don't know, man. I've gotten a little burnt out on those movies. I've seen them so many damn times, but it got me thinking about camp slashers in general and ones I might not have watched as much. And so this video is going to be all about camp slashers. I'm going to get two of them out of the way right off the bat. And I'm talking about these because I'm actually going to watch a bunch of them this weekend, or I'm going to try to, because I am kind of in the mood to do so. Yeah, I'm going to get two of them out of the way that I couldn't find my physical copies of. I have both of these movies. However, I just moved about a month ago and I don't have any shelving yet. So all of my movies are in boxes. So I had to dig through boxes just to find these. So those movies are going to be, first of all, The Burning, which is kind of like one of those no shit, you know, kind of the partially the objective of this video is to recommend you some movies that maybe you haven't seen that are fun, and maybe even tell you a couple of movies that you ought to steer away from, but you probably have seen The Burning. Or at the very least, you've heard of The Burning, you intend to see The Burning, you know of The Burning. So I'm not really telling you anything new when I'm like, yeah, The Burning is cool. But I do enjoy The Burning. That being said, I don't enjoy it as much as everyone else seems to. And this kind of comes from a place where I think I'm a little disappointed with the kills in The Burning because all I heard for the longest time is how crazy the special effects were in The Burning. I was like, that's going to be awesome. Kind of. Like the effects on Cropsy are really cool. All of this being said, I've only seen The Burning twice, maybe 3 times. So I might not be the best person to give you a spiel about The Burning. But yeah, the effects on Cropsy are really cool, and like the finger snipping, the fucking yeah, that's cool. The raft scene, I guess, is a better way of saying it than the yeah. But you knew what I meant if you've seen The Burning. Those of you who didn't thought I was having an aneurysm. So there we go. But yeah, I mean, there are some cool stuff. There is some cool stuff in The Burning, but at the end of the day, I don't think it was as gory and such as I wanted it to be. I still like the movie quite a great deal. It is still on the upper echelon of camp slashers, so understand that. I'm not talking too much shit. I actually really like The Burning. And then the other one is one that I don't like as much, but it is one that I own, and it is one that I like okay. That is Don't Go in the Woods Alone. Don't Go in the Woods Alone is a less traditional camp slasher where it's not summer camp. And some of these aren't summer camp that I have down here because I am thinking more in the way of slashers that are set in the woods where people are camping. So summer camps are included in that, but it's not exclusive to summer camps. But they do have to be set in the summertime, which is, I don't know, kind of stupid, but whatever. Which is why actually you won't see Madman here. Yeah, I did not include Madman, or at least they have to feel like the summer. I guess they don't tell you when these movies take place, but they have to feel like they came out in the summer. They can't have that grand October atmosphere. And of course, Madman is set in November, which is really strange because who holds a camp in November? But yeah, Don't Go in the Woods Alone is, it's okay. It's a mess. It's I've seen it just a couple of times, and it is a mess of a movie. It is not super great. It has some okay-ish kills. The killer looks okay. My favorite part about the movie is like the meanest kill in the film, where in which a guy on a wheelchair is wheeling his way up to the top of a mountain, and we keep following his journey randomly. We'll like cut. We don't know who this guy is, if I remember correctly. He's just like a random dude in a wheelchair, and he's like fucking struggling, and he's on the bigger side, so you can tell this guy's going through it, and he's wheeling up in the wheelchair, and he gets to the top, and he breathes a sigh of relief. And then as soon as the sigh of relief is over, the killer comes out of nowhere and decapitates him, and the wheelchair rolls all the way back down to the bottom of the mountain. That is so mean-spirited that it's hilarious. Yeah, that's probably like the one part of the movie that I'm like, I should rewatch it just for that. But since I couldn't find my copy, I might as well just not. I do want to seek out The Burning, though, see if it's on a streaming platform other than Shudder, because I don't think I don't know. I might have Shudder right now, but I'm not sure. And then I'm going to get my least favorite movies out of the way first. All right, well, there's this big old horror clusterfuck. And can you tell which ones are the camp slashers? Bloody Murder 1 and 2. Those are camp slashers. At least to my knowledge. I think I have seen Bloody Murder 1, so I won't be watching that. But I'll try to watch Bloody Murder 2, because at the end of the day, it is a camp slasher that I haven't seen, and it is shorter than Bloody Murder 1. I will definitely say I, from my memory, was not a fan of Bloody Murder. Very, very, very low budget stuff. Not much to make it special whatsoever. The killer is an actual Jason ripoff. It's just a guy in a hockey mask. In a camp slasher, which is what makes him a Jason ripoff. I don't remember his backstory or anything. Or if he even really has one. But yeah, that guy in a hockey mask and a camp slasher, that's a little on the nose, guys. But Bloody Murder 1 and 2, I don't really recommend those whatsoever. I will briefly mention a movie that sort of counts, but I'm not going to watch it because it's kind of a bummer. And that is Psycho Holocaust. That is a film, I'm pretty sure about 6 people that go camping. And I've only seen the movie once, and that's for a number of reasons, but I'll kind of give you the gist of it first before I get into those. About 6 people to go camping, and then there are just 3 lunatics who are awful, awful people, and they do awful, awful things to them. So yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. Yeah, it's gory, it's nasty, but it is really mean. It is. I mean, it's not like standard slasher fare. It's there's one scene in particular involving, I think it's a handsaw, and someone's back door. And I'll just leave it there. Yeah. Now, that being said, it's not a great movie. The performances aren't amazing. The sound mixing in that movie is dreadful, which is part of the reason why I haven't watched it. But the other part is just because it's really gruesome and nasty for the sake of it. There's really not anything else to the movie other than how gruesome and nasty it is. And so, if there's nothing else to a movie, I tend to steer away from, especially if the violence verges into sexuality. I don't like that at all. It makes me uncomfortable. So I just stay away from it usually if it contains like sexual violence. But like 100 Tears, that movie is violent for the sake of it, but it's like, yeah, I'll watch it from time to time. But I haven't seen that movie probably since I was 18. Psycho Holocaust, that is. And then this is another movie, actually, that I got around the same time as Psycho Holocaust. That is Blood Junkie. And I have seen this movie, just like Psycho Holocaust, once. I believe this is a camp slasher. Let's see. High school senior Laura Mills' parents are gone for the weekend. She's stuck at home babysitting her lame little brother when her friends invite her on a camping adventure. There we go. Yeah, I knew I remembered some camping. This is a very goofy movie. That cover looks awesome, right? Like, that looks like it's gonna have some good kills. The killer's gonna be cool. This thing is gonna, it's gonna go places. Like, Blood Junkie is gonna be, maybe at least on like the Friday the 13th level of kills is, in my opinion, what that cover looks like. It's not. Not from my memory. This is one that I'm actually gonna give a rewatch this weekend because I haven't seen it in a while. And I do want to see kind of if there was something I missed, or maybe I just underappreciated it a little bit. I know it's a trauma movie, which doesn't bode well, but I enjoy trauma movies usually. And I will say, maybe I just watch this movie as a goofy, stupid, fun little movie. Because I was thinking that it was going to be like a legitimately good slasher movie the first time around. And honestly, that was just my bad. That was my bad. I shouldn't have been expecting that. And the ending of the movie is absolutely nonsensical. There's nothing about that ending that makes even a lick of sense, and I still remember it to this day, and it's really stupid. Painfully stupid, one might even say. But yeah, Blood Junkie. All right, there are a couple of them here that are kind of on the verge. They're kind of on the line of whether or not I would really consider them camp slashers, because they take place in a cabin in the woods. But from my memory, they're not like in a cabin with electricity and like all modern amenities and stuff. And in one of the movies, there's a campfire, and that basically counts. And the movie with the campfire is The Legend of the Psychotic Forest Ranger. I won't be watching this weekend. I pulled this out as a recommendation because if you haven't seen this Legend of the Psychotic Forest Ranger, do yourself a favor and watch this stupid shit. It is really bad. It is. And it's not very gory. The kills aren't very good. But that's not really what this movie aims to do. It's more of like a spoof. It's more of like a spoof, but not like quite a spoof. It works as a horror comedy. At least that's what I tell myself to help me sleep at night, and that's the copium I sip on. But it's it's packed full of goofy dialogue, intentionally so, by the way, intentionally goofy dialogue, ridiculous situations, and dumb kills, wacky one-liners, and these plot holes that are strategic. It's actually really cool the way they go in and strategically place these plot holes to make sure it's like you can look back and be like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like they made them blaring on purpose. And I love it for that. Legend of the Psychotic Forest Ranger. I genuinely watch that movie all the time. That's why I'm not rewatching it today. But also it takes place in a cabin. So like barely camp slasher, but it does have a campfire in there. Basically camp slasher. Okay. The next one, I would say, is even less qualified because the standards are just getting lower and lower. Sledgehammer, which is a 1983 shot on video slasher flick about these kids who go up to a house where this guy killed his parents, I think, with a sledgehammer. I've seen this movie like twice. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fun. Dude kills people with a sledgehammer. Well, actually, it's a ghost. Ghost kills people with sledgehammer. That is definitely the least camp slasher that I'm going to be recommending today. The rest of these are 100% camp slasher. This is all the rest of it is camp frickin' slashers, dude. This one is a little more recent in a violent nature. I'm pretty sure this takes place at a summer camp. I think. To be honest with you, this might not be as camp slasher as I remember it. I saw this movie in the theaters, and I've seen it like once or twice since. All except for that ending. I always like just skip the ending now. Once I saw it in the theaters, like the last 12 minutes of the movie, I want to say, I'm just like, I'm good. I don't need to watch it again. That shit drones on, and I just don't care. But the rest of this movie is awesome. The killer is so good in this. This movie is a breath of fresh air. The killer is awesome in this. The setting, of course, is that foresty summer camp sort of setting. Once again, I don't know if it's a summer camp or if it is a cabin in the woods. It might be a cabin in the woods. But again, there is a campfire in here. Yeah, I probably should have waited till after I was done with this one to be like, oh, I swear to God, guys, they're all camp slashers from here. But this is a great movie. It has one of the wackiest, most insane, out of its mind, batshit crazy kills ever put to film, and I adore it. Genuinely one of the best kills ever put to film. It is nuts. So if you're looking for good kills, this is one of the movies to go to. Probably, yeah, I mean, I would say this is the best kills of like any summer camp slasher movie. That might even include the Friday the 13th movies. Those have good kills. This has awesome kills. It has two in particular that are really great. The rest of them are pretty good. I think there's one or two like off-screen kills. But the one is so out of its mind that it makes up for all the off-screen kills. Absolutely. Yeah, but in a violent nature. I will be watching that this weekend, hopefully, if I get to it. And then I am not a fan of this. The Final Terror. I may actually watch this weekend, though. Who else do you know does that? Just, I really hate this. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to fucking, it'll be like the Clockwork Orange. I'll have my eyes held open and I'll be screaming. God. Yeah, The Final Terror is not fantastic from my memory. My whole memory of this movie is that it drags absolute ass. I think like one or two people die in the whole movie. It's either one or two people die in the whole movie, or it's like nobody dies for large swaths of the film, and then out of nowhere, like 4 people die, and then we have a final girl and she kills the killer. It's dumb. It's stupid. I'm actually talking myself out of watching this as I show it to you right now, because I don't even think any of the kills are that cool. The killer looks awesome. I see him on the back here. He looks freaking rad. I don't know if you can see that, but he's got like a hook thing on his hand, like a hook blade and a ghillie suit. That looks really sick, but I don't really have much of a desire to revisit that movie. All right. Got a couple of horror comedies coming up. Bloody Bloody Bible Camp, as I guess these movies often are, right? Pretty horror comedy, usually. Bloody Bloody Bible Camp is a camp slasher horror film that takes place in a Bible camp. And it sees a killer nun with a devil mask on, stalking and killing all of the people at this Bible camp. I will say, I find this movie hysterical. I think the kills are pretty good in this movie too, actually. Like, if you're looking for a good slasher movie, genuinely Bloody Bloody Bible Camp kind of delivers, in my personal opinion. I've always been a fan. Reggie Bannister's in this movie from Phantasm fame, which is really cool to see him here. Ron Jeremy plays Jesus, so that's the kind of movie you're getting into. But it is very funny, and you know, it is pretty offensive. If you're someone who is easily offended, probably wouldn't watch this movie. If you're, especially like if you're religious, or even if you're one of those who is like really conscious about social issues and stuff like that, you probably won't like this movie. But I love this movie because I'm not conscious about those things. Because fuck you, that's why. Fuck your mama. Fuck your grandma. And most of all, fuck you. Sledge. This movie is really fun, in my opinion. It's very low budget, and I mean very low budget. Like, probably, this might be the most low budget movie on, like, in this whole layout. Well, no, it probably has more of a budget than Bloody Murder 1 and 2. It might even be more low budget than Sledgehammer. This movie is more modern, so it does look a lot better than Sledgehammer. But it's essentially about this group of friends. They go camping out in the woods, and there they find a maniac wearing a strange mask. I don't even really know how to explain that. It looks like a skull mask, but like the material makes it look like he's Leatherface or something. I don't even know. And he is spouting off one-liners about being in a video game or something. He's delusional, but he can't seem to pick a delusion. He actually comes off like he's trying to come up with an alibi in case he gets caught, is what it comes off as. Because he just keeps on saying things like, because, like, you're in my... And this is how he sounds. This is how he sounds. Because, like, you're in my video game. Yeah, you're in my video game, like Call of Duty. And I don't know, it's completely incoherent every time he speaks. But you know, he'll drop some fun one-liners in this movie. I find this movie very funny. Again, this is another one that's really politically incorrect, like Bloody Bloody Bible Camp. Maybe not quite as offensive as Bloody Bloody Bible Camp, it makes fun of mentally disabled people in here quite a bit. Also, as a warning, as a fair warning, if you turn this film on, the Brain Damage Films logo, that cute little guy right there that's super blurry because my camera sucks and refuses to focus on anything but my face, that's going to be loud as shit, and it's going to sound like a woman is getting stabbed to death with a butcher's knife. Fair warning. But just turn your TV down for that. Turn it back up afterwards. But yeah, Sledge, amazing, fun movie. I love it. Probably not amazing. It's a pretty bad movie, but I love it. All right, camera quality's bad. Acting is bad. The kills aren't great. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I like spending time with those characters, and that killer is beautiful. Just Before Dawn. This is going to be one of the best in this entire thing. I am definitely revisiting Just Before Dawn this weekend because Just Before Dawn is incredible. It is eerie. It is creepy. It has a couple of decent kills. It has this wonderful, wonderful score that is, it's like this whistle. And the best way I could describe it is it's like, it is as though they somehow found a way to bring the sound of being alone in the woods and make a musical score out of it. I don't know, that eerie feeling that you get when you're alone in the woods out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And it's a musical score here, and that's what that sounds like. And then the shots of the Oregon wilderness are gorgeous in this movie. So I seriously recommend this. I got to speed through this a little bit. I'm getting pretty up there in time. And I think my phone will only do like 30 minutes at a time. So the Sleepaway Camp trilogy. Of course, this is the Survival Kit box set. I don't own the Scream Factory Blu-rays. I'm not going to watch Sleepaway Camp 3. Just know I also recommend that movie. It is fun. But Sleepaway Camp 1 and 2. 1, I'm not as big on as everyone else seems to be. I'm definitely rewatching this. I do like this movie a great deal. It's just, it's not as spectacular as I think people tend to give it credit for. The kills aren't that great. It does have that great summer camp atmosphere. Sleepaway Camp has an amazing summer camp atmosphere. But, yeah, the kills aren't that fantastic. And there's something about the grown men in this movie that makes me really uncomfortable. You know, like, just everyone in that camp for some reason is a P3DO. You know, there's that cook guy that when he sees all those kids get off the bus, he's like, look at all them baldies. And the guy next to him is like, he just goes, and they're too young to even comprehend what's on your mind. And I'm like, that's not the correct response to that. The correct response would be to grab him by the collar of his shirt and say, if you touch those kids, I'm going to make sure you're coughing your fucking balls up. I hope you understand that. I hope you fucking understand that. I don't know. That pisses me off every time I see the movie. And I understand that he's supposed to piss me off, but I don't think that other character is even supposed to be a bad guy. But he's a bad guy for responding that way. That was awful. And then there's Mel, the camp counselor, or the guy that's running the camp that's like dating one of the camp counselors who I think she's 18, but like that's still weird. Mel's ancient, dude. Like, what is he doing with an 18-year-old camp counselor? But whatever, man. Whatever. It's a movie. I shouldn't let it get to me. Why did I have those movies out of order? That's Sleepaway Camp 3. Sleepaway Camp 2. It's probably my favorite of the bunch. I will be rewatching this as well. Once again, Sleepaway Camp 3, this is probably like the least summer campy, because it's about like people that are at-risk youths going to a summer camp, and there's like a gang member and a white supremacist, and I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, kind of a weird kind of vibe for a camp slasher movie. But yeah, Sleepaway Camp 1 and 2, I will be rewatching those. I recommend all 3 of these movies. Really, really fun flicks. So that's going to be all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you're going to be watching some camp slashers after seeing this video. I hope I've inspired you, because I have certainly inspired me. Matter of fact, I want to go watch them like right now. So I'll catch you guys on the next one.